Hey, what's up? This is Cuddle Party. I'm going to show you a build that I've been using throughout pretty much the entire game. As I've been going, I've been running into some things that have caused me to change my build quite a lot, and there's always been this one build that I always end up coming back to. It is just so reliable, and it just gets me through every tight spot. But let me just say this right now, if you're playing by yourself, this build has no use for you whatsoever. Just because of the fact that it doesn't do any damage, it is nothing but control and survivability. So if you're playing with somebody else, even just one other person, and you're playing a barbarian, you really want to watch this. But if you are just playing by yourself, you don't want to use this. There's just no damage. But anyways, looking at the build, Cleave. This is simply a Fury generator. Absolutely no other point to it. You only want to use this if you have no Fury and every ability is on cooldown. So you want to get Cleave and have Reaping Swing rune for that, just to get as much Fury from it as possible. Your next ability, this is absolutely huge. This is what you're pretty much going to be spamming the whole time. You want to use Seismic Slam and increase the knockback with it. This is just the bread and butter of the build. It's what's going to keep everything at a safe distance from your allies. This is primarily a build you want to use if you're playing with all ranged. Like I made this build when I was playing with a Witch Doctor and a Demon Hunter. If you're playing with a monk, this build actually might be kind of annoying. This build actually might be kind of annoying for them because they're going to have to keep running around, trying to get up in range and to hit them. So if you're playing with a monk, I don't know if this is what you'd want to use. I've never tried it though, so I don't know. You can give it a whirl, but it's a very good build. A lot of control. Next ability is Ground Stomp. This is just irreplaceable. You absolutely have to have this and this rune. It'll increase the area that it affects people, and it pulls them towards you. This is absolutely vital in this build. And I'll tell you why in a second. Furious Charge, you want to use this simply to be agile, to rush right into a fight or right 20 of your teammates. And you pretty much just want to get the increased Fury generation again to be able to spam Seismic Slam as much as possible. Now, the main thing why you want Ground Stomp is because after you Furious Charge, after you Furious Charge something, you want to do Ground Stomp right after, because everything in the area is going to get pulled into this one little spot, and then you can just, at that point, I'm guaranteeing you have max Fury after you Furious Charge and Ground Stomp. Then you just spam Seismic Slam, and it'll take everything that was in that area and puts them far away from your allies, and it just lets them safely shoot at them and kill them. You won't take any damage because after you charge, they're stunned. You Seismic Slam, they're stunned, and then not Seismic Slam, Ground Stomp, they're stunned, and then they're getting stunned and kicked back every time you Seismic Slam. So and then you just kite until your abilities are off cooldown, then you dive back in and just rinse repeat. You can just beat them into a wall. So that is why those two abilities are very important. Now this is kind of up in the air. There's two possibilities here. There's no really right or wrong. It's more or less preference. You can either use Threatening Shout with Demoralize is what you're going to want to have. I get that, if you're leveling, you don't have some of these runes. You can just kind of play with whatever. As long as you have the general idea of this build in play, then it's going to work. But as you get to these runes and you start using the right stuff, you're going to notice it's being a lot better. But the best thing for this ability you can use is the Taunt. You can either use Threatening Shout with a Taunt, just for a little bit more CC, keep things off your teammates, or you can go with War Cry and get Invigorate, which will increase everybody's health and life regen. As of late, I've been liking this a lot, just because we really need the survivability throughout the group. But really either one of these you can get away with using. Next abilities, these things are just a distraction. You summon them whenever you get into a champion fight, rare spawn fight, or boss fight. They're just kind of there to take hits. Like if something's getting really hectic, or you think it's going to be like you run up to a mob and you just see somebody with really annoying abilities, you can just kind of pop these to give them other things to attack or just things to get in the way. That's pretty much all this is to mess with the mobs you're fighting with. You don't want to pop these pretty much with anything unless you're fighting champions, a rare spawn, or a boss. That's the only things you want to use this for. So everything but normal mobs. But this is very helpful, especially since it's only on a 2-minute cooldown. Your passives, all of these are just the best. You cannot get rid of any of these. They're just simply the best things to use. First one, you definitely want to have Pound of Flesh. Increase the health globe drop chance. That's pretty huge, and then doubling the healing you get from it. That's also very important. With this passive, if I pick up a health globe, I get healed basically to full health, and I have, with the shout on, I've got like 34,000 health. So I mean, that's a lot of healing. Your next ability is you get 100% of your armor from your vitality, or an increase in armor. That is absolutely huge, especially since the way you want to do this build is have all your items give you as much armor and health as possible. And you don't even want to generally use an item based on how much armor it's giving. If you pick up an item that has less armor but more vitality than your current item, put on the vitality item, trust me. It's very important. So yeah, that's also extremely important to have. I don't think there's anything that can be better. And then Relentless, this is like just the dumbest ability, I have to say. I will sometimes deliberately go below 20% health just to get this effect. And what it does is it makes it so your abilities cost no fury, and this lasts as long as you're below 20% health, and you take 50% reduced damage. Now, I have footage on my live stream channel, I think on my YouTube channel, of times where our group's getting owned, or me and my friend are, and I go below 20% health. We just find this narrow spot, and I just spam Seismic Slam down it, and you'll see just everything running up, getting kicked back, running up, getting kicked back, and it's endless. They can't get up to us. And my friend just sits there, puts down his turret, and just shoots down there until everything's dead, and they can't do anything about it. It's extremely overpowered, I think. I feel like they're going to balance this ability sometime soon by saying, it lasts this long and then has this cooldown on it. But as it stands, you go below 20% health forever. As long as you're at that health percent, you take 50% reduced damage and nothing costs fury. So you can literally just all day spam abilities and you won't lose any fury. So altogether, this build I feel like it's actually really easy to use. Practice with it for a couple hours and you'll be completely solid with it. If you want to see it in action, you can look at some of my videos on my live stream, which there's a link to on the video the whole time. And you can go to some of my videos on my YouTube channel and look around. This is the build I've been using the most out of anything else. I'm guaranteeing you will love it. It is extremely powerful. And again, with the items, pretty much just want to go for as much health as possible. Again, you're not going to do like any damage whatsoever. Like it would take me probably 5 minutes to kill a normal mob with this build. But with teammates, it makes everything really easy. So again, if you're playing by yourself, don't use this. If you're playing with even just one other person, use this. That's only if you're having a lot of trouble. Like if you were building damage from the start and you're just doing fine, then do whatever your preference is. But if you're someone who's having a hard time, then, or your group is, and you want some kind of support, this is, I'm guaranteeing you will get through normal and nightmare absolutely no problem. And once you get to hell, obviously, I think just about any setup you use is going to be a hard time unless you're using something gimmicky. But yeah, this is just very easy to use. It's very solid. It's very reliable. It's very safe. So if you're looking for something like that, this is definitely the build to go with. And yeah, thanks for watching.